Hello, everyone. A very good evening once again. Warm welcome to Rising Above Crisis, a 4-day workshop brought to you by Heartfulness Institute. It is my pleasure that I have been joining you every Friday, 7:30 p.m. on these wonderfully created workshops. And today we are on the fourth and the final workshop in this series. My name is Jyoti Ganapati, and I'm a human resources professional with a passion for holistic well-being. In the last 3 series, if you had joined us or if you have missed, not to worry, you can always catch up on a replay. But the last 3 series, we discussed about coping strategies for managing stress, anxiety, and how heartfulness techniques can help in building resilience. And the last session, last Friday, we brought some interesting brain hacks to bring about lasting change and through the technique of inner connect at bedtime. So before we begin today, I do want to mention that today we are going to take all your questions and comments through the Menti survey. So as you're listening in and as you're enjoying this conversation, and also as always, we will have an experiential session at the end. If there are any questions that comes to your mind and that you would like us to take during this conversation, feel free to post them on this Menti survey. You can see the Menti Code and the link to get to the Menti survey in your description. So today, I'm very happy to be joined by Priya Hegde, who will share her thoughts on hope as an attitude and how one could develop this attitude of hope, especially during the current times when we are so much surrounded with uncertainty. Before I invite her, a quick introduction. Priya has her company providing web design and development services. She has a passion towards and help to promote sustainable practices. Art and design find a place in all that she does. She is very actively engaged with Heartfulness Institute in conducting workshops on meditation, various training programs, sharing her experience of more than 25 years. She's also a heartful communication facilitator, a journey that she has recently, over the last 1.5 years, discovered and focused on. Priya, a hearty welcome to you to the session.
Thank you, Jyoti. I think, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Priya.
Yeah. So the topic is something that is very probably dear to most of us, having gone through a period of trials in the last year and a half. And I'll try to share what my experiences are and what I have kind of felt or observed, and how possibly we can, build our resilience or strength in the face of these challenges that come our way. I think we are all born with a sense of natural ability to cope with difficulties or challenges, and there's a natural innocence with which we come into this world. But obviously, over a period of time, we kind of experience different experiences, and each of these experiences change the way we think, change the way we learn to cope with the situations.
Mm.
So, having said that, it's like training ourselves, each experience really teaching us step by step how I can strengthen my inner attitude, how I can develop this ability to find a way of seeing the positive, to find a way of crossing or handling each issue. So it's not necessary that it needs to be a COVID crisis. It could be something very small. It could be something that is just a decision that I need to make, a period of undecision or uncertainty. it's very similar to, say, for example, if we look at applying for a job, uh, you tend to go through this whole process of making your resume, what indicates who you are, how do I define myself. I start with that process. And I think I've done a good job. I go ahead and start looking for jobs. I apply in many places. And if I start to receive letters of rejection, if interviews don't go well, what is it that I tend to do? Do I start to doubt myself? Do I start to put myself in a place where I don't feel good about what I do or what I am? So there are two ways that we would normally take up our situation. I have an option. I might just start this process of doubting myself and sink further and further. It's like a spiral we're going down. And this obviously, it creates its own effects. And we tend to see ourselves in a poor light. And this affects our ability to handle interviews. It might affect the way I come across to the person who's interviewing me, or I just stop applying to places. And I think that I'm no longer even qualified to take up a job. Or I could see the other side of it. I could look at it as a period of refining my skills. And as I go through each interview or each prospect of a job, I can see that, okay, this is the area where I'm lacking. Maybe I have the time now to improve myself. I could join a course, I could intern, we have options that take up and improve the situation without looking at it as completely, giving up and saying, there's no job left for me. So I believe that choice of looking at a situation is in our hands, and how we deal with it, how we respond to it, that comes from our inner strength, the faith, the belief that I have in myself, the faith that I have in that there is some higher purpose, there's a higher connection. And to build myself, my foundation, my strengths, my capacities, step by step. If you look at a tree, which has its roots firmly in the ground, its foundation is strong, its strength is there. No matter what the storm or how strong the storm is, it's able to withstand everything because of that depth, because of that ability that the tree has in its, when its roots are firmly in the ground. So if we were to have that kind of foundation, have that anchor, something holding us to that very base of our existence, I feel it becomes easier for us to cope. We become more open to seeing other possibilities. It's like the tree, then, even though it's swaying in the wind, in the face of the storm, there is a resilience. It's able to come back. It's able to hold its strength. In the very rigid, if it is just kind of, brittle, it could easily break, snap and break. So in a sense, our ability to see the situation from a different perspective, from a different light, and be open to what is coming, be open to different possibilities,
Yeah.
not just what we expect.
Right.
Right? So we are kind of navigating through the situation with the faith that what is happening is for the better. And we will see that purpose or that reason at some point of time.
Hmm.
So the ability to come back, to bounce back, is, you know, when we really are able to hold on to that faith.
Hmm.
Keeping an eye on what is coming, what is ahead, rather than clinging on to what has happened. I think this
Right.
has a sense of, you know, focus, a sense of uh, looking ahead to possibilities again.
Okay. So that's very interesting, Priya, as you share that you shared the example of how, applying for jobs and being rejected. So one tends to, if you have too many rejections, one after the other, in spite of, being positive, wanting to try, right? But if there is a constant rejection or failure, how does one keeps oneself out of this spiral? We're not getting into the loop of this negativity and rejections and everything that's around, which is not happening as per the expectation. So what keeps us out of the spiral?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. And I think like the sense of purpose, a sense of where we're headed, where we're going, what is of value to me? What is it that I value the most? Is it something that is, you know, my contribution to my family, to what I'm doing, to my work? What can I focus on that can get me up in the morning? And, you know, I have that same spirit of saying, doesn't matter, you know, this will also pass. Let me work towards doing something that is positive. So when we feel that uh, activity pulling us down, situations when we can almost feel that our heart is just sinking,
Hmm.
you feel that pull, that you're dropping down, and there's so much of maybe sorrow and pain and hurt.
Yeah.
And if we allow ourselves to drop into that, it is difficult to come out. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
It
Right.
is that, you know, then that we depend on this inner strength,
Hmm.
this inner conviction that I have the support. Maybe it's a support of my family, maybe it's a support of my peers, my friends, my colleagues, someone around me, or this inner presence which guides me and shows me what to do.
Hmm.
You know, so we have the option. I mean, not all situations is it possible for us to stay afloat. You know, we do take a battering every now and then. It's not easy. But when we find ourselves in those situations and we kind of pause and take stock,
Right.
reflect, and connect within ourselves, we find answers.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to pick that up and move into action.
Great. Great. So, Priya, I think some questions are coming on our Menti survey. I'm going to pick some of them as we are discussing. I also feel that maybe there is a little bit of a network issue. So, if there's something you could quickly look at to stabilize the network, a little bit in and out of the audio. But an interesting question from our audience is, how does one cope with all the negativity that is hitting us during the pandemic? And maybe, Priya, if you could talk a little about, what has been your anchor and how has things, how have you coped with difficult situations in life?
Um, so for me, it has always been this strength from within that has. It's not happened overnight. It's not happened instantaneously, but it's been a journey of understanding of, again, each experience teaching me that there is something, there is a purpose, there is a reason why things are happening. And if that pause, as I mentioned earlier, can give me that clarity, teach me something, each situation teaches me something, then I'm better equipped to handle the next challenge that comes up. Is my bandwidth okay, or are you still?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a disturbance, as if it's cutting off a little bit. Can follow you though. We continue. If this there's an issue, then maybe we can go off the video and try. But should continue now, Priya. Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, it is this practice which is, of meditation, uh, of having that inner faith, basically, has really guided me.
Okay, looks like Priya will join us back. Hopefully, fixing the the bandwidth issues in the technology era. I think this is the beauty, that we have the privilege of connecting one and all, but at the same time, there are surprises sprung by the technology. So as she comes back, I continue to request you to post your questions. We'll take as many as we can, and that's the hope. That's the topic for today. So let's hope. And I see you, Priya. You're back, but I can't hear you. Can you check your mute?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, can hear you now. Wonderful. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, please finish. You were talking about sharing about your own experience of coping and how heartfulness has helped you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a journey of, I don't know how many years, but I think over the years, I have been able to find that faith. It has developed through time, and I'm more and more aware of it, and I'm more and more conscious of it, able to open and kind of, there's a readiness, there's an openness to receive what comes. I think that is the, the crux, or the underlying kind of awareness, that consciousness that we have as we go through our activities. We're able to receive whatever we can get, and not kind of be rigid and inflexible, I would say, and insist, or have this kind of insistence in our mind that this has happened and I would like it to go this way, and my expectations are not met, then I further sink into this depth of misery or unhappiness, which kind of leads me into more and more, rather than the ability to come out of it. So I would say that it has been this practice of meditation that has grounded me and given me the strength, this capacity.
Wonderful. And so, Priya, some more questions coming in. I think one of the other question is how do we really reach out for help? And is this enough that I have this positive attitude? I really want to make it to all the struggles, and I want to overcome the situation I'm dealing with. But is it all by myself, or is it okay to ask for help? And how do you get that courage to ask for help? If, so any ideas and your thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I guess sometimes, we hesitate to ask for help
Yeah.
because maybe there is some stigma attached to it that we maybe seen in a different light, that people may
Mm,
perceive us as someone who's weak, maybe, or as someone who's not able to deal with their own problems. Um, Reaching out to someone or knowing that you need help is a bigger, issue here, because if I feel that I don't need help, then nobody can help me.
right.
So, knowing that I need help or accepting that I need help to get out of this pit that I've dug myself into, uh, that may be the first step. So, I think this attitude of prayer is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
When we pray from really the core of our being, when we pray from our heart with absolute humility and absolute openness, that we are asking or seeking for help, that makes a difference too. So, it's a natural way of speaking to God, of reaching out and connecting with God and saying, I need your help when I may not have any support around me. I believe that this could be one of the ways in which we can ask for help. And of course,
Right.
if we have people around us, our family, our friends, then the ability again to be open, that that is uh, that is how we can connect to another and ask the first step,
Right.
of course.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does take courage, as you said. There could be stigma sometimes, and just our own ideas and expectations of how I should be leading my life, and without anybody's support or any such notions, which kind of uh, gets us back. But I think the a clear takeaway I'm having is about accepting the situation, being very open in that context, and then reaching out for help, starting from everybody around you, and the inner connect that you mentioned about the higher self and the mode of prayer, probably. Wonderful. So I think we're getting more questions. I'm going to quickly ask for the Menti Code to be shared in the description, as well as watch out for the link in your views on your YouTube channel. You can click on that and post questions. We'll take many of them. But maybe, Priya, it's a great segue for us to look at a practice today. What are we going to experience today? What are you going to offer to our audience today?
Well, since we have talked about meditation, I think we could have an experience of that. It's a
Okay.
short guided meditation. We'll
Okay.
start with the guided relaxation. So, for those who have not experienced this or tried this before, we would request you to just possibly sit in a quiet space, turn off your phone, and sit comfortably either on a chair or on the floor as you wish, whichever is comfortable for you. And we will take you through a series of instructions to help you relax your physical self and ease into a state of meditation where we connect with the inner presence, whether you call it divine or a higher self or the source. Let us see how it feels to take the attention from our mind and connect it, feel what is within us, to really experience that presence within us. So if we're okay, shall we start now, Jyoti?
Yes, absolutely all set. I hope our audiences have followed the instructions. Very simple one though. So all set.
Let us close our eyes gently. Take a deep breath and slowly let go. Bring your attention to the toes. Relax them. Feel the energy from Mother Earth moving up your feet, relaxing them. The energy is moving upwards, relaxing your ankles. Your calf muscles, your knees and thighs. Feel both your legs now completely relaxed. The energy is now moving upwards, relaxing all the muscles of the hips and waist. Gently bring your attention to the lower back. Feel all the tension oozing out. The energy is now flowing up your back, relaxing all the muscles right up to the shoulders. Feel your entire back now completely relaxed. Gently bring your attention to the abdomen area. Relax the muscles. Feel the energy moving upwards to the chest area. Take a deep breath and slowly let go. The energy is now moving down your arms, right down to the fingertips, relaxing them completely. Gently bring your attention to the neck. The energy is relaxing, releasing the tension. Feel the energy moving up to your face, relaxing all the muscles, making them soft and gentle. Let's move up to the mind and feel the complete relaxation. Your entire body is now completely relaxed. Let us gently bring our attention to the heart. And as we turn our attention within ourselves, feel that the higher presence within, the source within us, is drawing us inwards and taking us to this deep inner space. Let us feel the lightness within us and remain absorbed in this space until I ask you to come out. Let us now slowly bring ourselves back to the present, and before we open our eyes, let us notice and observe what we are feeling within. Am I feeling light, calm, peaceful, still? Allow this feeling to spread through your body. Just make it a part of you. Hold on to this feeling so that as you come out of meditation, you are able to continue your work, continue your activities, feeling that same lightness or energy from within yourself. Slowly, when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Priya, for this wonderful experience. Probably I'm just going to pick up a few questions from our audience. So I see on the Menti that there are a couple of questions from seems like beginners on meditation. So number one, okay, it's a little bit about, first let's take meditation because we just experienced it, and then I'll come to others. So what's the best time for meditation?
Yeah, so I think to begin with, if I may say that this practice of meditation regularly,
Mm-hmm.
possibly at a fixed time. So what we recommend is that you keep a certain time, although there are best practices with reference to the time at which time of day when you can meditate and really feel the effect of the meditation because of the ambience or the balance in nature. Um, it is not a rigid
Mm.
kind of suggestion. It is uh, quite flexible. In fact, this whole practice is tuned into our kind of fast-paced lifestyle and our demands of the modern day uh, responsibilities. So
Mm.
it suggests that as far as possible, if you can keep a fixed time and sit at that particular time every day, it kind of tunes your whole body, your mind, everything gets tuned into that flow, and you're able to slip into meditation much more easily than if you were to find just sitting at random times during the day whenever you have a break, although that is in addition to your
Mm.
meditation. You can meditate as many times as you like during the day whenever you feel like. the condition that we receive during meditation is, something that if we can carry through into our activities, that inner balance helps us to cope with whatever is coming up. So it kind of gives us a little bit of poise. It gives us that inner strength to handle things, to out of a sense of gratitude that this is what I have, this is what I've received, and with that sense of gratitude, I'm able to even help another person maybe, because in this sense,
Mm.
in this scenario of uh, most of us being in a situation where we need support, we're all finding ourselves in a place of um, a difficulty, or uh, not able to maybe talk to each other because everybody has their own challenges. So
Right.
when we are able to feel that, out of a sense of compassion, out of a sense of gratitude, that I have this inner strength, maybe I can help another person to cope with it, and we kind of uh, reduce our own uh, challenges, or reduce the burden of our own challenges when we try to help another out of that sense of compassion or love. So I think this uh, continuing that condition of what we receive in meditation, really
Mhm.
carrying it along with us, helps us to retain that sense of purpose or connection, an attitude of prayer. All of this kind of flows one into the other, as we go along.
Right. 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 Yeah. Another interesting question, not able to sleep well, and how can meditation help, or how can any of the heartfulness techniques help there?
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of, over a period of time, through the day, when all these we are kind of bombarded by um, messages, at work we have discussions, meetings, maybe emails, maybe our interactions with our family and friends and neighbors, and I mean we are constantly in touch with people and constantly interacting with
Yeah.
others in relationships, and all of this tends to create some baggage within us, right? We are kind of absorbing so many emotions, so many impressions, as we call them, and they are bound to create some kind of disturbance within us. So,
Mm.
the heartfulness technique of cleaning really helps us to unload this baggage on a daily basis. So, it is suggested that every evening, towards the end of
Mm.
the day, we kind of give the suggestion that whatever is not required, all these impressions are leaving us, and just kind of melting away, evaporating. So, this process of cleaning helps us to kind of let go of many things, and
Mm.
without letting it settle in us, and creating that, uh, you know, creating more and more disturbance or a deeper impression. So our problem of sleeping might be because of this. We are continuously thinking, the mind is working all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this cleaning technique will help to a certain extent of just removing all that is not required and giving us the scope to settle down.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And our invitation to our audience is to try these techniques and test it for themselves. Just moving on to the topic today, we had about attitude as in hope, hope being an attitude to wear about. How can hope really succeed without action? So, how is this like? How do you see this link? It's an interesting question from the audience. How can hope succeed without action?
Yeah, so acceptance or openness doesn't really mean that we sit back and
Yeah.
allow things to happen by themselves. Uh, having that hope, having that positivity is there, but we continue to do what we have to do. So we continue to um, take charge or take responsibility for our own situation. And as I said earlier, there's a very interesting way of seeing this, right? So most people would be familiar with this concept of the glass half empty or the glass half
Yeah.
full, right? So in
Mm.
our way of seeing it, that kind of um, I can decide for myself. I can decide which way I want to go, and really, uh, I continue to do what I have to do, and uh, you know, go forward with what I need to do without actually saying that, you know, I can hope, I can sit and hope, and I accept whatever is going to happen tomorrow. But if I don't kind of continue to do what I have to do, then that really has no meaning for us, right? So, putting our positive energy, translating what I feel within this inner strength, and bringing it out in the form of uh, this attitude, where it's like what I am within should reflect on the
Mm.
the outside. So if I'm able to kind of find that strength within myself and show that on the outside as having this energy, this positive energy that I can handle, and as far as possible.
Right.
It's not that every situation will be the same or every situation is, uh, I can handle by myself, but I will try. I will make an effort, and I'm not alone. I think that is the attitude with which we need to move forward, and to be able to uh, really uh, deal with this negativity or the
Mm.
downslide, or um, it's just that keeping up our strength.
Yeah. Mm. Great. So we're coming to a close of our wrapping up the session. So maybe why don't I request you to take this one last question and also share your, takeaway for the audience. There's an interesting question. What exactly is the link between meditation and hope? Now that we spoke about hope and also practiced meditation, if you can elaborate a little about that and your comments, wrap up comments for our audience today, Priya.
Yeah, sure. So, what is the link between meditation and hope?
And hope.
Okay. Um, so, when we meditate, we are basically connecting within ourselves and realizing that uh, there is some higher presence within us that is guiding us, that is present within me. And all I need to do is to tune into that presence. It is there, it has been there with us always. It's just that, we have not learned or we have forgotten how to connect. And we sometimes get into situations because of that, um, you know, kind of distraction, because the mind, our
Hmm.
ego, and all this comes into play. And we think that we are the most important people on earth. So, this idea that I am important kind of leads us away from what is within, right there with us.
Hmm.
So, through the practice of meditation, when I'm able to see that I am not alone, that I have this inner guidance, this inner, um, what do you say, like a radar, guiding me where I need to do, what I need to do, where I need to go, how to deal with the situation. When I have that, meditation is basically allowing me to tune my mind, to uh, regulate my mind, to listen to that inner guidance. And when I have that connection, I am able to have hope that yes, this situation is not beyond my means. I can deal with it. I can get that inner strength to deal with it. So I think the link between meditation and hope is just that understanding of having that inner support no matter what. And I think we've reached the end
Yeah.
of the session. So I guess it's just that having faith, having as our anchor grounding us and giving us a strength to develop that inner poise, develop that um, the connection, and making our own choices, taking responsibility for our situations. I think this would really help us to develop that attitude of positivity, and hopefully that kind of energizes those around us too. Thank you, Jyoti.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Priya. It was wonderful having you, and I'm very hopeful that today this dialogue and tips that you've shared will inspire all our audiences to be very hopeful, positive about the future ahead. And hopefully, the heartfulness techniques are something that everybody will continue to explore. So, before we wrap today, as I said at the beginning, that this is our last of the series session, Rising Above Crisis. So, I'm going to take just a minute to quickly wrap and restate some of the resources that are available to you, and also to share with you what we are planning in the month of July. So number one, if you can bring up the view of our Heartfulness YouTube channel, we will also share this on email with all of you who have registered. But do want to help you know that there is a YouTube channel on Heartfulness techniques. You will find very simple techniques that we have covered in each of these sessions during the last 4 weeks. The cleaning technique that Priya mentioned, which could be very helpful in improving your sleep, is all available here. These are very simple short videos you can play, and you can practice along with the guidance that is there. There are also very other important, very inspiring and motivating videos. So feel free to be on this YouTube channel. You will see the links coming to you shortly. Number two, I also wanted to call out that in the month of July, we will be bringing two very unique series to you. Number one, it is going to be about a weekend getaway. The concept is all about having a weekend retreat with your family, but from the comforts of your home. So this is going to be a program by registration. Again, please leave your email IDs in the Menti survey so that you don't miss out the opportunity of being here. We will share more details of how to register. And also in the month of July, we'll have two eminent speakers from the field of medicine or from the field of science who will be coming and sharing a similar perspective and their own experience of how they are dealing with the current situation, current context of what all of us are in together. So with that, it has been my pleasure, and I hope you all had a wonderful experience of meditation. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.